Spencer is focused on his NIL deal. Jordan thinks he's making friends, and Olivia is hyper focused on what she thinks is right. What's good, y'all? It's your good sis Erica Vane coming to you right here on Erica Vane TV with another All-American video. In this video, I am breaking down the trailer for episode 15 from season 4, giving you the preview. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on your bell notifications so that you don't miss out on any of my All-American content. I also did a synopsis breakdown, so if you want more information on this episode or you'd like to read the synopsis for this episode, you can go over to ericavane.com and check it out or watch the synopsis breakdown video. But without further ado, let's talk about it. All right, y'all, the trailer opens on Spencer looking like he's walking in to some type of like player conference room, maybe in the athletic wing, where he sees Jordan getting congratulated by a bunch of upperclassmen on the team. And this is going to go along with the NIL sponsorship brand deal storyline. So heavily on Spencer's mind is still the NIL deals, and we saw in last night's episode that he is just now, really starting to make a shift in his mindset. He understands the importance of social media. Shout out to Davida, because in addition to bringing him out onto social media and doing it under the guise of like helping to raise his profile to better position him to get more notoriety and a better position or a spot on the team as he tries to ascend the ranks and get onto the football field, she ultimately is able to bring him back to himself and allow him to see himself in ways that he did before, which kind of takes him out of his head and puts him in a better place to perform. By the end of last night's episode, he goes to the head coach and is like, yo, I would love to go to special teams because we need the help there, and I know I'm not doing what you would want in the position I want to be in, but I want to be of great service to the team, and ultimately I want to play. And I just love it. Like, to me, that was one of the best decisions that Spencer has made this entire season. It takes him back to his core of like just wanting to play the game of football. He's kind of been in his ego bag for a while since getting to college, which I didn't really understand, because he's new. Like, you're on a whole new level of play. You're completely new to this team. You're completely new to this coach. And I think that he was expecting way too many attaboys and way too many pats on the back and expecting to just let this be a cakewalk. And it was never going to be that. So in last night's episode, we really got to see him kind of like accept that and start to make better adjustments and to adapt. And now we can really start to see him grow. And I give, again, kudos to Davida for pushing him in the ways that she did. And with that, now in this episode, we're going to see him leaning more into the NIL opportunities. That's when they're going to leverage their name, image, and likeness for potential brand deals and sponsorships and all of that, y'all, because collegiate athletes can do that now. And I think it's going to also go back to, him needing to raise his social media presence to build his personal brand. And we hear Davida saying you're going to need people talking about you. And again, that's going to go back to him raising his profile on social media, really starting to establish a brand and a reputation for himself. And it was easier to do on a smaller scale when you were just, at Crenshaw, or you were just at Beverly Hills. Of course, everybody in the neighborhood knew you. Like, you transferred to Beverly Hills, and then it's like, oh, you're the dude from Crenshaw that's killing on the field, and you're the best player. But when you're no longer the best player, when you're no longer one of very few black faces, even though I think that should be the case because they are at a PWI. But watch my live that I did last night, y'all, because I talked about some of the things that I feel like we're missing in this series right now. And one of the things is like the experience being shaped about them being at a PWI and like what impact that actually has on them as, black students, black student athletes. But now you're really one of many greats, and you really just have to differentiate yourself. Now, I did not have the opportunity to secure brand deals when I was in college and when I was playing, but this is a very, very amazing opportunity. I've always felt like the amount of work that collegiate athletes put in, they definitely deserve to be compensated. It made no sense to me how myself as well as teammates were completely broke student athletes getting up at 4 and 5 in the morning to work out, getting to class at 8 a.m., going through classes, then going to the weight room at 1 p.m. and coming home and having to do a bunch of homework, and then also coming back to the gym later on that night at 7 to 8 p.m. and then doing it all over again. Like, that's a whole job out here in these streets, and we got absolutely no money for it. You just got your school and your books and your dorm paid for. Speaking of dorm, Spencer and them are still not out of that beach house, y'all, and yes, I'm still mad about it, but I'm not going to make this whole video about it. Anywho, we're most likely going to see Spencer and Davita interacting again. She's going to be around for a while, y'all. She's going to help him start to navigate this whole world of being a student athlete that's also trying to secure deals. We learned in last night's episode that she secured a 6-figure sponsorship, and she was navigating some really, really tough stuff, and she was able to use her story and her talent to really champion herself and put her in a great position on her team, but then also make a bunch of good money. And speaking about the money, after we see Spencer and Davita in the trailer, we get to see Olivia, who is standing in the baker's mansion in Beverly Hills, basically stating, oh, it's just a couple $100. And sis, Olivia, you cannot be this clueless, mama. Like, you really just cannot. The privilege that is steeping off of Olivia, the entitlement that is steeping off of Olivia in this season, I'm just like, child. You're stressing us, honey. You're really stressing us. She feels a way about these NIL deals because it was presented by Davita. I feel, y'all. Like, I really do feel like watching last night's episode, she's really in her feelings about Davita being the one to push Spencer to do something that she asked him to do, but he didn't actually want to do and wasn't going to do it, which was come to the gym. And then 2, she feels like Spencer is changing now that he's exposed to Davita and her ideologies. And because they are focusing on the nil and the raising his personal brand and all of that must be destroyed, because that is all change and it's not going to help him. It's going to distract him. Meanwhile, you don't feel like him standing in the beach house as a freshman football player who can't even make it to class on time and find his classes. You don't feel like that's a distraction. You don't feel like y'all waking up every morning together at this beach house and going to bed every night, brushing y'all teeth together is a distraction. You don't feel like snack times when you could be watching film with your assistant coach that rallied for you is a distraction. But raising your personal brand, positioning yourself as a star athlete, or not even a star athlete, positioning yourself as an athlete of stable values and a clear mind, all of that is a distraction. Meanwhile, it's actually the perfect prep for where he's trying to go, because guess what? In the NFL, there are endorsement deals, baby. In the NFL, it actually matters who you are as a player. Some of the head coaches are thinking about not only how talented some of these players are that they bring on or that they draft, but who are they and what are they bringing to my team? Am I bringing some kind of drugged out, crazy, wild boy to my team, or am I bringing somebody who actually has a future, some longevity in the league that I can trust and build a franchise around? All of that starts now, Olivia, and it's not a distraction. And I hate this for her. I hate that she's focusing in this way and she's spending her time attempting to destroy something that's going to be very, very important for Spencer as well as his career. And she doesn't realize it, of course, because we don't ever realize it when we're in it and when we make certain decisions like this. But these are all the beginnings of the end. If she's going to put her foot down and make this stand in the way that she is, and she can't seem to figure out how to adapt and grow with the change and realize that Spencer loves her and that their relationship is not part of, any of the old that's being swept out, but she wants to make this jealous stand, this insecure stand, and take a position opposite of what he wants to do, then basically she's setting herself up for the relationship to take a turn. And you know what? I will have no sympathy, because this is all stuff that she would have brought on herself. From there, y'all, we get to see Spencer in the game or on the football field. So maybe him making the switch to special teams is something that actually works out. Then we get to see a Spencer sitting off in a corner somewhere at this beach house, and he's really thinking very hard. I do think that this nil conversation is going to be a stressor on the Olivia relationship in this episode, and this is going to be one of the first times that we're actually seeing him kind of like push back, because even in their fights, I feel like he's been very quick to concede and to apologize to Olivia. But in this case, he don't really have anything to apologize for, because this is a decision that he's making with his life and what he wants to do, and she's trying to fight him on it. And I think he's probably sitting with his feelings and trying to figure out like what he's going to do with that information. And then from there, we get this Jordan with this little leather motor jacket who's overly excited. I love to watch a little excited Jordan, even though he be excited walking into his doom, child. Like, these upperclassmen are ready for his behind, and I know that there's going to be a big fall, and I hate that for him, but also that's how we learn. So it is what it is. And before the trailer closes, we get to see Spencer talking to Olivia at the Baker residence, being a little bit frank, and he's just like, you ain't live it. And I think that this goes to not necessarily an argument that they have, but they're on two different sides of this Neil conversation. And Olivia's writing this expose, really hell bent on trying to bring it down and point out all the negative about it. And basically, I think that she is going to ruffle some feathers in reference to Spencer as well as her brother, who are trying to establish certain deals right now. And then from there, we get Coop saying a voiceover of like, you got to know when to back off. And we see Layla walking past Coop, looking interesting with Patience in the background. And I think Patience and Layla just haven't made their way back to each other just yet. And I think that's going to be interesting to see. And then the last things that we see before the trailer ends is like someone scrolling, looking at private jets with the upperclassman with his little smug behind. The upperclassman talking about something, you want to taste a good life. And then Spencer saying that's real money. And I'm just like, oh, the stress and the drama of it all. But y'all, that is my breakdown of episode 15, the trailer, the preview of what you can expect. Let me know what your thoughts, theories, and predictions are in the comment section down below. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on your bell notifications so that you don't miss out on any of my All-American videos. So we have like the best conversation. So again, join the tribe by hitting subscribe, okay? I also did a live last night where we talked about the episodes after the episode's premiere. I will be doing a live interview with Netta Walker from All American Homecoming, so be on the lookout for that. Again, hit the subscribe button and follow me at ericavane.com on your favorite social media sites so that you don't miss out on that. Okay, see you in the next one. Bye.